Hi everyone, this is the Kayla Lopez, the Bombshell Beauty, and you're watching the Fans View podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Fans View podcast. Today, I am joined by one of the rising stars in the New England independent wrestling scene. She's been grinding, she's been building momentum, and she's been making a name for herself with confidence, intensity, and just nonstop hustle. We're talking journey, we're talking mindset, we're talking about what's next. We are talking with Miss Kayla Lopez. Kayla, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing so good. How are you?
I am good. I'm so excited to have you on. We were talking a little bit off camera. I think this has been in the works for like 6 to 8 months, something like that.
Yep, something like that for sure. I'm super excited to be here.
Well, we love it. Well, I'm so glad we could have you on. First and foremost, for fans who, maybe like me and are in the Southeast and aren't glued to Instagram or Twitter, who is Kayla Lopez, both as a wrestler and as a person?
Ooh, that is a good question. Strong question off the bat. I love it.
Right off the
Um,
rip.
Kayla Lopez, she's known as the Bombshell Beauty. She's someone who has confidence, even though everyone struggles with confidence at times. But she's someone who's just passionate about what she does. On a personal side, I love being with friends and family. I love being able to work out. Love being able to just create moments and magic both in the ring and outside the ring. So that's kind of what I'm all about.
I love it. Well, take me back to the start. When did you first fall in love with wrestling? And what made you fall in love with wrestling?
So this is actually one of my favorite questions because I'm a very late bloomer when it comes to wrestling. So I
Okay.
actually didn't really know what wrestling was until about 2017. I actually
Okay.
grew up in the dance world. So one day I turn on the TV show Dancing with the Stars and I see that Nikki Bella is a contestant. And I've always loved that show. And every season, me and my grandmother's thing was to look up every star that was competing and see what they did, where they're from. So I look up Nikki Bella and I'm like, oh, okay, this girl's really cool. Like, I had no idea that there was a whole wrestling world. So, as that season's going on, I'm also like watching Nikki Bella on the side, like, kick butt and take names. And it kind of just grew from there. So I've only really known about wrestling, which I know kind of sounds crazy, since almost 10 years now. Even though I know like most people, they grow up watching it as a kid and, Friday Night SmackDown was like a thing growing up. But yeah,
For
it's kind
sure.
of just seeing her, and then I would, go into like the Divas era and kind of just start going from there. And then I had to go back and watch like the Attitude Era and kind of just starting an era, watching it, and then going back another era. So my journey with it has been definitely different.
I love it. I love that though. It's one of the fun parts of this show is I get to have people from like all starting points, all walks of life. Like I've had those lifers that were like, "Oh, I was 4, I watched it with my grandpa and like here I am." And then we have people
Yep.
like you that come on and like, "I just found this in the last decade." So that's
Yes.
always super cool. Well, obviously I want to jump ahead a little bit. Do you remember what that first day of training's like? I mean, that has to be a culture shock going from watching Nikki on Dancing with the Stars to you're in there getting your butt kicked in the ring, especially at that phase. Training is not fun, breaking in.
Absolutely. I mean, my very, very first day, I remember I actually made the decision to take a free class somewhere at like 2 a.m. one night for the next day. And I was like, oh, that looks fun. I'll just give it a try. Like, this is fine. Um, I was not fine. I ended up going in, first day we did bumps right off the rip and just doing a whole bunch of stuff. And I remember getting home that night and like limping into my house and being like, oh my goodness, like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. And at the time I got a text message the next day of like, "Hey, how you holding up over there?" And I'm sitting in like an ice tub. I'm like, "Yeah, no, everything's great." Like thumbs up. Like,
I love
uh,
it.
but definitely it was a very much a shock, and definitely put things into perspective because a lot of people look at professional wrestlers and they're like, oh, you just prance around in a ring and in your underwear pretty much, like especially like they say that for men too.
Hmm.
uh but I'm like, no, no, no. After that day, I was like, no, we have to give them their respect because it's not as easy as just walking around. You're falling, you're getting hurt, you're really putting your whole body into it. So it's
For
not,
sure.
it was definitely a learning curve for sure.
Yeah, that might be the understatement of the episode.
Yeah.
You trained at the New England Pro Wrestling Academy. What did that environment teach you about toughness, discipline, confidence, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so I actually just started training there. I took my first class there earlier this summer, and then I'm kind of starting to get back into it. I did take a little bit of a break from wrestling,
Right, right,
but they have such a positive environment. Like words cannot describe how calm, easy. It's like easy going more so. Training is
right.
not easy. Calm, easy going. Really just like build your confidence. Again, I haven't been training with them for that long, but the environment is so positive, and
Right.
for like my new trainers, they are excellent and just cannot say enough like good things about them. Just such a great environment to be in, and I'm really honored that I get to say that I train there.
That's fantastic. A healthy environment is always it's key to success, honestly. Um,
Absolutely.
when you look back at that first match, and I know we all cringe when we look back at our first anything, what's something you laugh at now that felt like just terrifying at the time?
Something very oddly specific was so there was one sequence that I was working with Luscious Latasha. I love her. And we did something. I forget what the move was. Definitely not something I should have bumped off of. But I just remember all of a sudden I'm like, oh, and I watched it back. I was like, oh, I'm on the ground. Why am I on the ground? And just looking at it, and like I haven't watched it in the longest time, and now I'm gonna go back and watch it after this. But it was just funny that at the time when I first watched it back, like immediately after, I was like, oh my goodness, no, my career is over before it even started. And then like, I look back now and I'm like, ah, good times. Because we all learn. It's your first time out there, so like
Yeah,
in the moment I was like, nope, this is it, my
it's over.
career's one hit wonder, that's it. And then now I'm like, ah, whatever.
I,
Like you
I
learn.
I love that. That's fantastic. What do you feel like you've improved the most since your debut? Whether it be your confidence, your in-ring skills, your character work, what do you think you've grown the most in?
I feel like my in-ring skills have improved, and I'm working more so on my confidence now in turn to improve my transitions, because something I do struggle with, being fully transparent, is like sometimes having the confidence to say, okay, this is how the match is going to go, and like you want it to be, you always want it to be perfect, right? But being able to say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and attack this, and I'm just gonna be confident and regardless. Like if confidence is half the battle. If you go into it confident, your work is on automatically gonna look cleaner. So that's something I want to continue improving on. But that's kind of what I've been working on more so lately.
Okay, I like that. You know, you've been grinding on the New England indie scene. What's something that fans don't realize about how difficult that grind really is? Because I know, obviously, I have a little bit of a window into the business. I get to see you guys struggling. Like you have a shoot job, a day job, then you're going and training, and then you're, God forbid, you try to maintain a relationship out of that.
Mhm.
What are some things that people don't get to see, that you're really working hard at?
It's that day to day, really, because like you mentioned, most of us have shoot jobs that we're doing. So like
Right.
personally, I'm a medical esthetician and aesthetic instructor who just helped open up a school. So my day to day has been pretty packed with building that school from the ground up, and that's a lot of hours a week. And then you have to put in time for training, and you have to put in time for working out slash like nutrition, and then you have to put just a ton of time into like all these other windows that it's like, how do you have enough time in the day? And then you have a family and life, and if you're in a relationship, it's like all these things add up. So I think people don't always see not only the juggle between everything, but they don't always see, like, like if a juggler drops a ball, like they just pick it right back up and continue. That's kind of what we
Right.
have to do, but they don't always see that drop. They just see, just juggling the whole time. But like sometimes that ball does drop, and we're not as focused on training, or we're not as focused on working out or spending time with our family and loved ones. So it's hard that everyone thinks that we have it all together at all times, and reality is we don't. There's no way that everyone
Absolutely.
has it.
No,
Hey,
that's
you.
that.
Yeah, watching this right now. I see you. If you're enjoying what you're watching, I've got one quick favor to ask, and it only takes a second, costs you nothing, and makes a huge difference. If you could go ahead and hit that like button, maybe drop a comment. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed. Doesn't seem like much, but for small creators, it's everything. So let's help more people find this channel and keep the content coming. And honestly, I'm pretty sure the podcast will be really grateful. So if you're having fun, you like what you see, make it official, click those buttons, and the Fans View podcast, we'll see you next time.
No, that's understatement of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
You've had the pleasure of sharing the ring with some top names in the Northeast. One that comes to mind is like Sarah Jade. You've had the chance to be around knowledgeable people, talented people like Julie Cutler. Who's taught you the most through those experiences, you think?
This is definitely a part where she's gonna laugh when I say this. I'm gonna say Julie. Reason
Okay.
why is because she's gone through so much in her personal life, but she always shows up and goes be up above and beyond for any project she's working on, any person that's her friend. Like she just wants to see you succeed. um, and she's also taught me a lot about being able to find yourself, find your grounding, and not sacrifice that for anyone. Like she's all about like know your worth, and just like I know I smile when I think about it because she's just one of the most inspiring women in general to me. But she just really knows herself, confident who she is, knows what she deserves and doesn't deserve, and doesn't settle for less. And she's not afraid to chase after her dream. She's not afraid to, if there's an opportunity, she's not gonna be like, oh, I don't know if I should go for it or
Right.
not. She's confident in herself, as she should be, because she's a queen.
Yeah.
But she goes for it, and that's something that like I don't always do that. I'm sometimes more of a person to be like, oof, oh, I should tread lightly, but like, and I wish I would go after it more like she does. And I just like she has so many exciting opportunities coming up, and it's because she's able to put herself out there and just show the world how beautiful and bright she is. Like she's
For
a ray of
sure.
sunshine. So I'm so I get inspired by her all the time.
I love it. I'm so glad that we could put our Diet Coke queen up on her pedestal in this episode.
Yes, that she is my Diet Coke queen. I think I just tagged her in something on Instagram earlier of like, it's like proposing with like a Diet Coke or something like that. I'm like, that's anytime she comes to stay with me, we make sure we have Diet Cokes at the ready. It's like people who have like glasses of wine for like gossip time. Ours is like a Diet Coke. Like that's how we do it.
I love it. I love it. And guys, make sure when you're done watching this episode, you go check out Julie's episode. Um,
Yes.
if you had the have you had a moment where you've thought to yourself like, damn, this is harder than I expected, and how did you push through that?
Yeah, definitely. There was a point like right before I debuted where I felt like I think I was in it for about like a year and a half at that point. And I just felt stagnant. And it
Mhm.
was that feeling of I'm trying my best to grow and I'm trying my best to like get out there, but like I couldn't quite get out there and get to that debut. And I remember just sitting there and being like, I don't really know if this was meant for me or not. But I ended up just being able to push past it, like with support of like Julie and my husband, who's also a worker. And having just a good support system around me to be like, so you trained this hard to get to this point. Why are you going to stop now? You're on the brink of like debuting, right? And of course, at the time, when you're in your head, you're like, no, everything's the worst. Like, in that spiral. And it really just took them pulling me out of it and being like, no, 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 you're not going to doubt yourself now. This is just a little hurdle. You're going to get over it. And guess what?
Right.
Greatness is on the other side. So
Let's
it's really
let's
just
go.
like, yeah. And I remember just one day I was really doubting myself, and my husband sat with me, and he was just like, so why would you give up now? And of course, like my a defensive response was just like, oh, well, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it or whatnot. And he just goes, no, but why now? You tell me why now. And it really just sat and made me think. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're so right. Because, like, you never know when you're going to get to that point, and
Right.
why stop until you at least get there? Because then all that hard work was for nothing. So
Right.
my support system has been absolutely amazing.
I love that. And to kind of piggyback off of that, I wanted to ask you, everybody is different, everybody has their own reasons, but what motivates you more? Is it that proving people wrong, or is it proving yourself right?
That's such a good question. Um, it's a little of both, honestly. If I had to pick one
Okay.
more so over the other, I'd say proving people wrong, because in turn it proves me right. Because I think that there's always going to be people who doubt you and people who go out of their way to try to hurt you just in life in general. And in your head you're like, "You know what? No, I can do this." And, you can simultaneously prove someone wrong and prove yourself right. But um
Absolutely.
yeah, I'd say probably more so prove them wrong, because, kind of feels a little good.
Suck it, guys. That's why.
Yeah.
I love it. Um, when you really think about it and you kind of break it down and look at the big picture, what do you want fans to feel when they pay their money for a ticket and they see a Kayla Lopez match? What is it that you're trying to convey to them?
I really want to convey to them that regardless of where you come from, what you're used to doing, etc., where you think you can go, I want fans, especially like younger girls who are looking up to female wrestling and be like, oh, I might want to do that one day. I want them to be able to be like, no, if I want to do that one day, I will, because Kayla's showing me that I can.
I love
And
it.
it's just super important to me, because like every time I'm out there, I at least see one little girl in the audience, and I know that she's looking to me to be like, wow, she looks cool out there, or whatever. Or like, even if I'm a heel at that point, they're like, oh, she looks cool, but I don't like her. Like, I think regardless, I also want fans to feel some kind of emotion, whether they love me
Right.
or hate me, depending on what I'm trying to do. But I want them to feel something and to be able to take a break from life for a second and just be entertained. Whether it's by the character or what we're able to do athletically or whatnot. So either I want them to feel inspired to be able to go after everything that they want to in life, because they can absolutely do it, or I want them to just get that escape from life for a little while. Life is heavy. There's so much going on in the world right now, and if you're paying, $20 for a ticket to go see something, I want to be able to take your brain off of all the bad stuff that's happening and just look at just fun and life and stories and just characters and all the things.
I like that. I love that answer. As we kind of round this thing out, I have my two signatures that I can't let you go without asking. Number one being, this is the Fans View podcast. I started this show because I'm a fan. What are you a fan of outside of wrestling?
Ooh, okay. So I'm a big Disney fan. Um, a huge. I know it's unfortunate. I'm like looking at like my Disney snow globe, like that's like right on the other side of this camera. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. So like Orlando's like one of my favorite places to go because it has both.
Fair.
Uh, Big fan of dancing, and really just a big fan of cooking shows. Actually, I don't, and it's ironic because I don't like to cook, but I love watching like cooking shows, and I have no idea where that comes from. But it's my
Okay.
husband's like, I'm always cooking. I'm like, but I'm watching Gordon Ramsay do something, like it's good.
I love it. Oh, that poor guy.
Oh yeah.
Um, Last but not least, and this is my favorite question because I really love to get behind the performer and to the person. And that is, at this stage, not just of your career, but you're a young woman of your life. How do you define success?
That is such a good question. Hmm. I feel like success for me will be when I'm fully content with myself and feel just that breath of air where I'm not, clenching or holding or anything. It's just I can relax a little bit, I can breathe a little bit because I'm happy. So obviously, like professionally, I have goals I want to hit. Personally, I have goals I want to hit, and I think I will feel successful once I am either close to hitting one or I hit one, and I'm like, okay, I did it. I've succeeded at one thing.
That nice little exhale is always a beautiful thing, right?
Yes.
Well, Kayla, I really appreciate you coming on. This has been so much fun. Hopefully this is the first of many appearances. I hope it won't take another
Yes.
8 months to get you back on for the follow-up.
Yes.
But we've really enjoyed having you. Where can fans get a hold of you? Be it, your social medias, where can bookers get a hold of you, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So my social media handle is both on TikTok and Instagram, which I'm gonna post more on my TikTok soon. Will be at the Kayla Lopez. And then I also have an email that's attached to my Instagram as well, the Kayla Lopez at Gmail. But yeah, that's where you can find me. I'm also on YouTube. I'm starting to post more of my matches there. So it's just Kayla Lopez on YouTube.
Love it. And do you sell like t-shirts or 8x10s online, or are those at shows only?
Yeah, I typically they're at shows only, but if anyone ever like DMs me and is like, "Hey, I want a Kayla Lopez shirt," I will gladly ship one out. Or I have 8x10s, I have photos, I have stickers, I got jewelry, I got all the things. So yeah, if
I love it.
anyone is ever curious, they can DM me on Instagram, send me an email, any
Love it.
platform.
Awesome. Well, Kayla, this has been so much fun. Guys, make sure to go follow her on all of her socials. Go check out that YouTube. Hit subscribe on her YouTube, and then hit subscribe on the Fans View podcast. And
That's
hey, if you
right.
got a little expendable income, even if you're not in the Northeast, shoot her a message. Support her that way. But every like, every follow, every t-shirt, every 8x10, they're all appreciated, guys. Make sure to go support our girl. And most importantly, don't forget, guys, to call your mom.
If you haven't liked or subscribed, you're going to be joking me.